Hello, welcome. My name is Austin Seagrave, and this is the seventh and final of my talks on the third evil, which is liberalism, following on from its predecessors of Nazism and Communism. Excuse me. Liberalism is the third of the trinity of evil ideologies whose implementation has been so disastrous for humanity. And of course, we must not forget the fourth evil ideology, which is capitalism. Since it is an economic ideology, I have not included it among the political ideologies. But despite all the evidence of its unworkability, the refusal to drop it shows that, like the three political ideologies, it is an insane and deadly addiction. Why is man so prone to self-destruction? So prone indeed that now his self-destructive behavior has brought the possibility of human extinction. What is wrong with man? To put it another way, why is man mad? So what is man? He is an animal, but he is an animal like no other. An animal in a class all by himself. What is the difference between this animal and all other animals? For pity's sake, don't say intelligence. It is hardly intelligent to bring yourself to the brink of extinction. In a word, the difference between the human animal and all other animals is in consciousness. His consciousness is what makes man mad. But animals are conscious, animal consciousness. Human consciousness is an addition to animal consciousness, a catastrophic addition. This particular primate, this human, has made a discovery no other animal has made. Truth is simple. Human consciousness is simple. Human consciousness is the consequence of just one more discovery made by an animal. Any animal can make a discovery. A dog can discover that the sausage dropped on the kitchen floor is good to eat, and ever afterwards seeks eagerly and hopefully for another. The same dog can discover that next door's cat is not to be trifled with, and ever afterwards takes evasive action. The sausage and the cat are objects in the dog's world. In the human primate's world, there is an extra object, an object unlike any other. The primate has made what I call an evolutionary discovery. Before I speak of this particular evolutionary discovery made by a primate, I will tell you about the nature of evolutionary discoveries. Alexander Pope wrote an epitaph on Isaac Newton. Nature and nature's laws lay hid in night. God said, "Let Newton be," and all was light. Some discoveries are more than mere discoveries. These are better called revelations. They enter the mind without warning. It seems to their recipient that they cannot have come from anything less than God himself. A discovery, a revelation, a fadeless vision. Suddenly something seen, never seen before. Suddenly something understood, never understood before. When a letter falls softly on the doormat, you can trace the causal linkage all the way back to the writer. Not so with these revelations. They seem to come causeless. Therefore they must come from God. These revelations are the making of man. Our primate is the recipient of the first revelation. The first revelation is the mother of all the revelations that follow. When Miranda in The Tempest had her revelation, she cried, "Oh, brave new world!" And it is a new world. That is the achievement of these revelations. They not only reveal the world, they create the world anew. That's why the ancient name for them was Word. In the beginning was the Word. Chaos ruled, then God spoke the word, and lo, all is order. Here's an example. Until a certain date in the 17th century, the medical theories of the body were confused, disorganized, inchoate. Then William Harvey spoke the word. The word he spoke was the theory of the circulation of the blood. And lo, we have the scientific vision of the body as an organic machine. Another example. One languorous morning in Eden, Eve, more beautiful than can be imagined, is lying at her ease among the flowers of paradise. She is clothed in dapples cast by a nearby apple tree. She has an Eden mind, empty. Between the slender fingers of her right hand she is rolling a seed. It is an apple pip. It has been lying in the grass. She pushes the pip into the earth between the blades of grass. Then suddenly she is aware of what she is doing. And suddenly she sees. What she sees is indeed an evolutionary discovery. She sees a connection between two things seen many times, but separate, never until now connected. What she sees is the garden. Pip in, apple out. Seed in, bread out. Sex in, baby out. Oh, brave new world indeed. Of course, that brave new world is not brave or new to her descendants, long taken for granted, boring, mundane, merest old hat. Likewise, our primate's discovery. Of course, I do not know exactly how that particular primate made his discovery, but it is likely to have happened something like this. Primates are social species. Intense rivalry and jealousy persists among the males over possession of the females. This is primate politics. The search for political advantage stimulates the development of primate intelligence. This is expressed largely by an intense observation of rivals. But this observation is limited in two ways. Firstly, the observation is limited to the time the rival is in sight. Out of sight is out of mind. Secondly, the observation is of an object and belongs in the class of objects. Not quite the same sort of object as a sausage or a cat, but nonetheless an object. Until there is a new object in the primate's world, the evolution of primate intelligence is stuck. So what is this new object in the primate's seeing, which is a world-revealing flash of lightning that does not fade to dark, an evolutionary leap of intelligence, the matrix of consciousness, which to us is merely the oldest of old hat? One morning, a primate is watching another's stealthy approach to the seraglio. The females become aware and chatter in uneasiness, and the rival retreats and is out of sight. What is supposed to happen next is that out of sight is out of mind. Our primate is supposed to forget the existence of the rival once the rival is out of sight. This is the standard behavior of all animals, but not this primate this morning. So what happens next, you cry? Don't keep us in suspense. He has made a discovery. Yes, you've told us that. What discovery? He has discovered you. You? What are you talking about? I am telling you that our primate this morning has discovered what will allow us to use the pronoun you. He has discovered what lies within the pronoun you. He has discovered the meaning of the pronoun you. I told you it was old hat, but not old hat to him. The word you is the most significant of all words, utterly new in the universe, the mother of language. Think about the word you. Think of the word's meaning. What is the difference between the pronoun you and the pronoun it? The pronoun it refers to a thing. Even a cat is an it. Even a dog is an it. and so are you. But you are an it with an addition. Until this first morning of the world made new, the primate could only observe the outside of things, including even his fellow primates. Like someone who has never been inside a house, and so when he sees a house for the first time, he can only see it as a solid cube. Imagine his surprise when he sees a door open and glimpses an interior. This is what happened to our primate. When he looked at his fellow primates sneaking up on the females, he saw a door open and he glimpsed an interior. He knew what his fellow primate was up to. He knew why he was sneaking up on the seraglio. Previously, he had only seen an act that triggered an instant response. Now he knew why. I say again, previously he had only seen things doing something that triggered an instant response, as if, for example, a boulder is coming crashing through the forest. You don't ask why, you just perform the appropriate response. Or a forest fire. You don't ask why, you just perform the appropriate response. So also our primate until this first morning. Now, as if with the full power of a revelation from God himself, he knows why. What he had discovered was that inside his fellow primate was desire. Our primate had discovered desire. That is to say, our primate had discovered that desire existed, had discovered the fact of desire. The fact of desire is an act of knowledge. To know that desire exists in addition to feeling desire. A bit like Isaac Newton discovering why the apple fell on his head from the tree. Something understood. But that's nothing, nothing to what else he discovered this first morning. In discovering that his fellow primate had desire, he had discovered desire itself. In discovering desire itself, he discovered desire in himself. He discovered that he desired. In discovering that he desired, he discovered himself. He had become an object of his knowledge and an object of his perception. Now he was not only in the world, now he could see himself in the world. Now he had a body. This is the moment of the birth of man. In discovering you, our primate had discovered me, himself. The two members of the new class of desire, you and me. Mundane indeed, so mundane that later he, I mean his descendants, can use the pronoun me, quite forgetful, indeed unaware, indeed unconscious of the shock of its arrival in the world, just as Eve, I mean her descendants, can eat a slice of bread quite unconscious of the cosmic shift implied in her discovery. You and me, inseparable, conjoined twins. You and me. Not quite equal, though. I don't discover me all by myself in a vacuum. I only discover me through you. Oh dear. The definition of me is you, not you. The formula for me-ness, i.e. self-discovery, is you, not you, equals me. It's not my intention to spell out another cosmic shift consequent on you discovery as me discovery. Which cosmic shift is the evolutionary leap of intelligence? Suffice to say that now our primate can not only see his fellows' hand movements, now he can interpret them as gestures, as indicators of an interior, indicators of a state of mind, a mood, or an intent. Let me make this quite clear. Human consciousness is animal consciousness. Like any other animal, human consciousness is of the world in which he lives. The animal sees a world, the human sees a world. but a world profoundly different, because the human sees it altered by his discovery of himself, sees it through his discovery of himself, even if he's not looking in a mirror, but is looking at the sausage which the dog has just snatched. He sees the sausage quite differently from how the dog sees it, not only because he regrets dropping it, not only because he's not a dog, but because he's one of that primate species whose members know that they exist. Human consciousness is animal consciousness mediated through human self-discovery. Our primate has a name, of course, a name you know well. His name is Adam, but he is soon to acquire a second name. What Adam has discovered on this morning of discoveries is that the other primate is not just another primate. He is a rival. He wants what I want. If he gets it, I don't. The rivalryness of the rival is not confined to this particular rival in the same way that the concept of gravity is not confined to the apple that fell on Newton's head. The action of the apple is a specimen of gravity. This rival is a specimen of rivalryness. The fact of rivalryness is switched on permanently. A light without an off switch, out of sight, is no longer out of mind. Oh, what a catastrophe! The discovery of rivalry has brought about a cosmic split in our primate kinship. The cosmic split in our primate family is a mutual dependent enmity. In other words, we can't leave each other alone. Mutual dependent enmity does not displace family feeling. It jostles along uneasily with it. To start with, of course, since you have not yet entered self-discovery, I can't leave you alone, and you are surprised at my relentless seeking of you, even when you've dodged out of sight. And you are surprised at a fight that is no longer a ritual, and you are surprised at the first murder. Your name is Abel, and you are not the father of man. My second name is Cain, and I am. Understand this. Animals are callous, but only man is cruel. Cruelty is impossible until I know that what pains me will also pain you. Now I can knowingly and willfully inflict pain on you. Let us call this baleful empathy. It is Eve who brings love back to our maddened species, not Eve the simpering doll, not Eve Adam's favourite hidey-hole, but Eve the mother of man. So this switched-on or existential self-discovery has made man capable of evil. But how come it has made him mad? Because this duality of you and me is actually a trinity. This existential self-discovery comes with a shadow, the third discovery. The third discovery is, of course, what we humans will later call death. What this discovery is in the beginning is the implication of an end, that there is a finitude, a termination, lies within the logic of self-discovery. An immortal cannot self-discover. But surely he can by the difference between himself and mortals doomed to die. No, indeed. Because what he has discovered by the difference between his immortal self and mortals doomed to die is both his immortality and the possibility of death, and he can never again be sure. You, me, and death are the three persons in the trinity in the primate's discovery of himself. The implication of mortality is not so much in consciousness as the dark medium through which animal consciousness passes and is distorted. It is this implication that lies like a scorpion within self-discovery which has made man mad. The death-maddened primate is the correct name for our species. Death has entered our every transaction with the world. Everyone who is in a hurry is hurrying from death. Please note that while I have made no mention of the leap of intelligence resultant on you discovery, me discovery, death discovery, if one casts an eye on human history, one might conclude that this new empowerment of intelligence has been put to no good use. The entrance of death into life, the shadow of the sunlight, is negation. Negation is unknown to other animals. I asked Mummy for a chocolate. Mummy brings me a toffee. I throw it at her and wail, "It's not chocolate." Toffee has acquired an additional nature. It has acquired something that does not pertain to it in reality. It has acquired notness, in this case, not chocolateness. The arrival of negation has ushered in strict dualism, chocolate and not chocolate. The chocolate also has acquired something that does not pertain to it in reality. It has acquired not negationness. If I say that it has acquired not notness, I will be going beyond the limits of your understanding. But I will be speaking of an understanding that leads to redemption and salvation. In other words, the chocolate has acquired the fatal delusory virtue, the light that casts no shadow. In other words, the chocolate is the antidote to the discovery of death. The chocolate is not death, which is why I want it, a wanting quite different from the dog's hunger for the dropped sausage. Dog needs, man wants. This is the body's continence and the ego's greed. This is addiction. The ego's greed is the ego's perversion of animal appetites. The toffee is the negation of not death, is what maddened man means by death. Death is the negation of not death. Since the discovery of death, what is missing from the list of possibilities in the mind of the maddened primate is the possibility of otherness. Not chocolate is, in fact, toffee. Another example. There is no such person as a non-Jew. A Gentile is not a non-Jew. A Gentile is someone else. Likewise, there is no such thing as an infidel. An infidel is not a non-Muslim. An infidel is someone else. Likewise, there is no such thing as a non-male. A non-male is someone else. In this case, is a female. How else are there babies? Until the fact of otherness returns to the maddened primate, he is trapped in his dualism. Life is no longer life. Now life is not death. And death is not having not death. This dualism is most stark in the relationship of you and me. When I cry, I have, I am also crying, therefore you have not. I am crying, I have not death, and you have death. Surprising, isn't it, the meaning that lurks inside the cry, I've got chocolate and you've only got toffee. So it is not surprising that our species ceaselessly searches for the perfect not death, and clings to it in the face of all evidence that it is not perfect. The maddened primate no longer knows how to take no for an answer. The redemption of man, the death-maddened primate, is the acceptance of the fact. This acceptance brings healing because it brings back otherness. In particular, it brings the revelation that death is not the negation of life. There is no negation. Death is not nothing. Death is something else. Only then can man receive his destiny. The destiny of man is to enter his duty. The duty of man is the guardianship of the life of earth, is to do what the old gods used to do, hold his guardian hand over green and dancing life of earth. This is why life has evolved man. But man cannot enter his duty until he forgives life for the dirty trick life has played on him. This forgiveness is the acceptance of the fact. Meanwhile, this I pray, that life may outlive the evil of man. Finally, I dedicate these 7 talks to Bounce, the best friend of all my life. He died at 10:01 in the morning on the 10th of January, 2025. He didn't quite make it to his 13th birthday. To help me through my despair, I vow this. Keep faith with Bounce. Without him, alone, go on. To keep faith with Bounce is to keep faith with life, that despair shall have no victory. This is what he was. He was a spark of the divine fire, a leaf of the divine tree, a breath of the divine breathing, a life of the divine life,